What is up, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Talks of War on Savage Arm Wrestling. I am here live with Judy from Poland, Master Referee. Judy, would you mind taking a second, introducing yourself a little bit?
Hello. So I'm Judy. You probably know me from all the arm wrestling events, usually in black and white stripes. Not today. Today I'm more private. I'm a referee for almost 17 years. So a lot of time. And ask me what do you want to know?
Yeah.
More.
17 years. So you've been reffing for 17 years. At what point in your refereeing career did you attain the title of Master Referee?
Oh, so it was a long process because when you count all the levels, there's 5 international levels, and we have also 3 levels in Poland, and you need to go one by one. At least in Poland, you cannot just switch to next level, even you are good enough. So for me, the process was at least 8 years, but well. I didn't pass my master at my first year. Almost no one do that. I'm not sure if anyone did that for the first time. So I passed my master for the third time. So to get my master, it took me like 11 years
11 years.
till I got my master level. But there are people who were refereeing like 20 years and they are still not master. It's really hard to get to that level. And the difference between senior advanced, that it's one level lower than that, and master is like really, really small. It's all about your attitude, your approach. How can you handle with really bad situations when everyone is angry, everyone are yelling on you, or situations that happened on the table is very unique. Nothing that you can just have in rules, like very simple situations. So it's all how you can handle those type of situations.
That's it feels like it would be quite stressful dealing with those types of situations. What would you say was one of your most stressful moments having to deal with a match like that? Like most intense, most stressful match you've ever had to deal with. Do you remember it?
Okay, so this I could answer for that in 2 ways. First of all, every time when I have a situation that something happened and it was very fast situation or very complicated, and I'm not sure. This is very stressful every time because you need to make a call. You cannot just say, okay, I need to review that on the video. Yeah, no, you need to give a call. So you just need to rewind everything in your head and say what you think is the best call at that situation. But sometimes you are really not sure what to say. And every time it is stressful because, okay, what is the worst situation for me? Someone will just post it on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, whatever, and sign that I was blind or something like that. So this is the worst scenario for me. But what is worse, in my opinion, is that maybe I'm just harmed someone. Maybe I just made a bad call and this person just lost his second match, or maybe it was Armfinder or something like that. So I don't care that I will be blind in the internet, I will be called blind or something like that, because I already harmed someone, and this is worse for me. So I'm the person who really care. So if and if at some point there will be a moment that I won't care anymore, I would decide to not referee anymore. And about most stressful match, Not an easy question. And I thought about that because several months ago on Knuckles Up, someone asked me the question, and I was like, I don't know. To be honest, I have never thought about that before. And I think that one of the most stressful for me was final day of top eight, and I got a match between Angarbayev and Prudnik.
Oh.
Yeah. And I knew that they are both very tactical,
Mhm.
and that even very small movements, small angles, everything will matter to the outcome of the match, because the starting position for both of them was the most important. Of course, it is the most important every time, but for them, it was like really crucial. And I knew that everything in that match could base on a referee, and if there would be another referee, maybe the outcome would be different. So I knew the responsibility, and indeed, my hands were shaking a little bit at that time.
Well, I'm trying to, keep a little bit from being a fanboy here as well, because like you're dropping some like matches that I remember like growing into the sport watching, um, and hearing that like remembering that you were actually up on the stage. You're one of those referees at that time. That some. Do you ever feel? Well, I don't think you probably have that feeling as much anymore, but um, because you see them a little bit more often. Do you ever, when you first started doing these matches, do you ever feel a little starstruck, or were you already naturally and comfortable with those people and that type of environment?
Well, I didn't. I didn't. Maybe because on every next competition, I just meet someone else and get familiar with them one by one. And I went to hang out with this group of people, another time with another group of people. So for me, they were friends.
Mm,
Some of them were my friends before they got famous.
yeah.
So it came pretty natural. Maybe the big difference was when I started for the first time to referee internationally. Because first couple of years, of course, I was a referee in Poland only. So maybe my first Europeans, first worlds, and so on, when everyone were new for me. So maybe then there was the big difference, but not really. And it's funny because sometimes someone tells me, "Oh, you know him, you know him. Yeah, it's so nice, so awesome." And for me, he's my friend. He's my friend.
Yeah.
He's not a star.
Yeah. Because I can say that I just recently met Mario Tambakis in person, and I was a little starstruck.
Okay.
So I would probably, I'm along those same amount of people that would be, that's so cool. You got to see these people in person. And to you, it's incredible that you've gotten to know them at um, through the years. That it's just comfortable now. They're just friends. It's not like oh, they're this big famous person in our sport. They're just like, oh yeah,
Can I tell you a secret? Okay, so no one will find out, of course. Yeah, so there are some really big stars in that sport that came to me at some point, and they they were very happy that they could meet me, and it's their words that I wanted to meet you so badly, and I was like, really, I'm only referee, so you are the star here, what's going on? But yeah, some of them, I'm not going to tell their names,
Oh yeah.
especially one person, and he knows. um, he always repeats that he's my biggest fan.
That's awesome. That is awesome.
This is
So
funny. This is just funny because I'm just a backgrounder. I'm there to do my job as good as I can. I and honestly, I don't like to be on the stage. I'm not this kind of person. No,
oh, you don't.
no.
Well, you're center of attention 90% of the time.
Well, I am in the center of the stage, but not I'm not the center of attention. The center of attention is those two guys or those two girls. I'm on the backgrounder, so it's a little bit different. But when you give me a microphone and you ask me to tell something,
Mhm.
no, I hate it. I hate it. It's not my type of personality. No.
Yeah. Because you mentioned it before, when we were talking prior to the stream, that when you're doing like these events, it's like uh, when you're watching these athletes compete, that it's you have to like you try to separate yourself from them. I think that's the way you worded it, because you don't want to make bad calls or um, how do I put it?
Well,
Uh,
better it's better to not have expectations and to not be focused on one thing that you know that this person can do that trick,
Mhm.
because you want to be completely fair during refereeing, and knowing one person tricks wouldn't be fair at that time because it's pretty very possible that this person is going to do that thing, and when you are focused on that, you are going to stop that, and maybe you won't be um, as much focus on the other guy.
Mhm.
So I try not to prepare myself for matches too much before, not
Mm.
to go inside their techniques and tricks and everything, just to focus on the match generally without any thinking at the back of my head. Oh, he's going to do that. He's going to cheat that way on that way. So I'm trying to be a little bit from the back because the main rule is do not call something you don't see during match. It doesn't matter that you know that this person do that. Oh, very often does it. And no, you need to see that. This person need to do this exactly at this moment to get a call for that. So for me, maybe another other referees has a different style, but for me, it's better just come to the table. Okay, it's you and you. Okay, nice, fine. Let's go that with that.
Well, we got the
It's
high
fun.
five.
So not only me, many other referees has something like that. When you ask me after the match, oh, you refereed that match. Who won? And I'm this guy. It's yeah. I can show you left or right, but it's very often that I didn't even remember who was
Yeah.
it.
So you completely like separate yourself from it and just focus on not the athletes themselves, but what's happening on the
At the
table.
table.
Yeah.
So even I was refereing a super match. There could be a situation that I just finished with that match, and I was like, who won?
Oh, yeah.
I really, it is possible that I don't remember because I didn't count
Yeah.
particular matches, and just assume that it wasn't like 3-0 or something like that. It was more complicated result. It is possible that I'm not sure who won.
So we got the high five arm wrestling and jumping in the chat saying you're the best ref in the business.
Thank you. It's really nice to hear that. So to be honest, the most important thing as when you are a referee is when people enjoy your refereeing. And every time I get comments like that, it's that's really matters, especially if they come from athletes, not from viewers. Of course, viewers are very important, but from pullers, and it's even more important when a puller says to you that he would like you to be his ref. This means that this person trusts you.
Yeah.
And for a referee, it's a lot.
So first, before I ask the next question, I would like to say I apologize. We did have some some challenges in our last attempt to meet up.
Doesn't matter.
Um, but from that point, it really showed that you have an extremely busy schedule. And from seeing that, because it took us almost 2 months to try to get a reschedule to be able to have this conversation.
Yeah, and I told you that we can meet tonight or in the mid-January.
um, how many events have you participated in this year?
Okay, so this year is really busy for me. I think that I haven't done so much in the past. I'm going to finish this year with 20 competitions. I have two left,
Yeah.
but after that it will be 20. And I've got even more invitations, but I just couldn't do it. Especially, I have on my normal work, my normal job.
Yeah.
So I use my holidays to travel for all these events. So I just couldn't make more than that.
So you just brought up an interesting topic right there. So on top of doing all this travel and refereeing, you have a normal job on top of that. And
Everyday job, yeah.
yeah, so doing all these competitions and having this job. So what what do you do, if you don't mind me asking, outside of being one of the best referees in the business?
Oh, thank you. Okay, so the shortest answer is I treat cancer. And a little bit longer is that I work in oncology center, in the radiotherapy department, and I'm medical physicist. So my job is to create treatment plans for cancer patients. So how to irradiate the cancer and spare all these healthy tissues around as much as I can. So this is my work.
That's incredible.
Thank you. Thank you. I love my job as well. So I love both of them.
Yeah.
Refereeing and being a medical physicist. I wouldn't resign from any of them.
I don't think a lot of people expected that answer.
Yeah, and if you want me to add something, I'm also a little bit of scientist, something like that. I do a lot of research. It's like natural in my job because it's very developing. And I have my PhD in medicine. So I am Dr. Judy, and some of people call me that, like Jake, for example, Dr. Judy, or Sean. So
I think we need to change it from Judy from Poland to Dr. Judy.
Well, maybe, but I just got used to Judy from Poland, and there is a story behind it as well, and I just like it. So,
yeah. Dr. Referee. Special jersey, Dr. Referee.
If you need any help, call Dr. Judy. She knows the answer. Every problem call, just send her a video with a match and she will give you a call.
Chris, you need to have a special referee shirt now that says doctor on it.
Yeah, maybe.
Wow. So with you doing 20 events, well, you said 22. by the end of this
No,
year?
no, it will be 20. It will be
Okay.
20. When I finish the year, it will be 20.
Um, if you don't mind, as a master referee, um, what does the money kind of look like? Like,
Okay,
or
so
money is always a good question, so you can answer it in
yeah,
however.
I know. It could be pretty surprising, but we usually don't get money. So, okay, in most situations, our costs are covered. Um, so you, so I have a small request for all the people who watch events. Most of us are at the stage for many hours without being paid. We are doing that for passion, not for money.
Mhm.
So the next time when you get angry on us, and just remember that we are doing this for you, not for money. So of course it's not that I'm not getting paid. There are events that I received some money. It's not the big money, but I'm fine with that. As I said, I'm not doing that for money. I just love to be there and do that. So there are a little bit bigger money in super matches, but on normal tournaments, it's in most cases this only your costs are covered, so your travel expenses and hotel if it's needed. But and this can be interesting for all people. European Championship, World Championship. It doesn't matter if our WAF, there is no referee who get money there. Only our travel tickets are covered. And some of us get also a hotel. So World Championship can last a week, and we are there every day for like 10 hours.
Yeah.
None of us is paid. We are there because we wanted to be there. So this is not a job to be rich on that, to get some fortune. It's not. We just love to do that.
Mhm. Velagia jumping in saying you guys better get paid. Every ref, every ref
Well,
has to
I,
get
I
paid.
need to well, but I need to admit that in last some I don't want to say years because it's not so long, but also a little bit more than months. But let's call it recently, a situation a little bit changed, and more and more organizer has some budget for referees. So uh, in right now in more cases we get some money, but it's still not money that you would think of, because a lot of people ask me if I don't want to quit my normal job, my everyday job, and be full-time referee. Well, I would love that. Being a referee is awesome. However, my normal job is also awesome, but there is no way I could even pay a rent on that.
Yeah. Um. So you travel a lot for all of your events, um, and some of those are like extreme, like international. You're going to the United States. You're going into Europe. Um, what places have you been to that have probably been like a highlight for you in your career?
I'm just going to add something because what you mentioned, I travel a lot and my travel is covered. So this is something that I can add to my, let's call it salary. Because I travel around the world without paying for that. Of course, if I stay longer and I just have my holidays after the event, I need to cover my costs. But still, I traveled into so many countries, great countries, very interesting countries, and I didn't pay for that. So I need to add this as money from the event, because without that I wouldn't go there, or I would go there but I would need to pay for that. So this is some kind of part of salary that we don't count, but it is huge. And I understand that for organizer it is a cost. So for organizer, the cost of inviting me, it's not only how much he is going to pay me, it's also a cost of hotel, a cost of food, and cost of tickets. So for the organizer, cost of a referee is still pretty high. So we need to remember about that. And what about traveling? Okay, so I'm the type of person who really enjoy traveling and getting familiar with different cultures, different places. So, and I really like diversity. So it would be rather hard for me to point one country, because for me, changing from one place to another, it is something crazy. And people everywhere are very nice to you. Their hospitality is usually at a very high level, but this hospitality is still very different. So it's really hard to compare sometimes. In most cases, when I go somewhere, I really feel like a part of family. And it's awesome. People right now in most events I go for, I really feel like a part of team or like a part of family, but it's completely different. And I like all of them because diversity is something so interesting. When you try to compare one to another, it's
I can agree with that as well. I've traveled a lot through definitely my younger life in my 20s, but and I've experienced living not I won't say living, but visiting all these other cultures, and it's an enjoyment. There are some places where you get, it gets a little stressful when you're trying to deal with multiple languages, but overall it's always great to experience other cultures. So I definitely can agree with you there.
Well, I have also a lot of stories, so I know.
A small shift, kind of focusing in on an upcoming event you might have in January. As being one of the primary referees for Knuckles Up, can we expect to see you on the big stage on Knuckles Up 5?
Yes. Well, yeah, I think that. So we work as a team there. So I'm really happy that guys treat me as a part of the team, and they consult a lot of things with me, even though it could be only their decision. They really trust me in case of refereeing, and if there is anything connected with refereeing, at first they ask me what I think about that, and we can discuss it, and then we make our decision together. So I don't expect any changes here, and I'm happy about that.
That's something I really enjoy about Knuckles Up. I really feel like they don't try to isolate their decision. It's like an open conversation for many of the things that they decide.
Well, it is. If you, for example, very detailed with everything that we have done from the Knuckles Up 1 till now, even the rules, the first rule set was completely different. And at Knuckles Up 1, there was Sean and me, and we had a pretty long discussion about the rules with Chris and Will. And we had our points that maybe this could be changed that direction or that direction, and also the guys also had their point that no, we would like to have it like that because and their the explanation. So we came with a rule set that at that point we were pretty satisfied with, but some of the rules were pretty new, different than we usually do in normal tournaments. So when we check it on the events, it turned out that maybe it's better to do that way. So we made some changes during this events, and I think that this is awesome because we can react on what we need at that situation, and that this could be better. So the main point is to try at least to satisfy everyone, viewers, pullers, not to get them fall out, but not to let them to do too many tricks because it's not fair at that point.
Yeah.
Um, and to not have our setups too long, but still assure that those setups will be fair. In my opinion, as a referee, setup is the crucial part of the match. You can really destroy the whole match for someone only because the setup, the moment when you say ready go, it wasn't fair. So I know that sometimes for me it's get a little bit too long, but still I prefer to spend there like 10 seconds more and be sure that when I say ready go, I feel that the situation is the same for both of them. And for super matches, it doesn't matter. It doesn't mean that they are completely 100% completely in the proper position. Sometimes they both have some kind of advantages, but in different points. But if I feel that they both are at the same level, and it's really hard to set them up because there are guys who are really hard to set them up. But if I feel that the situation is fair, I can say ready go. And even though one of them will be discussed with me after that, no, but he was like this. Yeah, and I can always answer, yeah, but you were like that. So it was fair.
Yeah, that makes sense. Because there have been times where I'm seeing things like that, and now that the way you explained it, I 100% agree with you. And I never thought of it like that before. Because I'm always seeing it from the outside.
Yeah. So of course, in ideal situation, it would be the best to just set them up and everything is 100% fair, straight, and everything. But be realistic. In most cases, it's not so easy, especially in super matches. They don't really want to listen to you, and they would do their best to get a little bit of advantage. They know their job very well. It's not that they train like 2 years. They are really good at this, and we don't want to foul them out because it's always an option. I can just give one warning, second, and the third, and finish this match with fouls. But it's not. No one wants it, and we don't want to spend like 2 minutes on setup. So sometimes you need to compromise a little bit. And as far as it's fair for both of them, I can take every criticism on me. It was my decision. Okay, it could be on me. But the most important for me is to feel that when I say ready go, I feel that this is fair for both.
So,
and something I'm afraid of the most, that in the situations that both guys are really hard to set up and there are guys like that. So I always afraid the most that my setup, my ready go, wouldn't be fair, or maybe a small false start. Sometimes those false starts are so small that you always think, should I stop that or not? Because if I stop that, I need to go all over again. Did that had a big impact on the match? Or maybe the second guy reacts so fast that it didn't matter. So there are a lot of situations, especially in super matches, that you are not so strict with the rules because you have viewers and everything and the whole emotions. But those situations are really hard to judge, and you need to take it on you. This is your responsibility fully.
Yeah. That feels like it'd be quite stressful.
Sometimes it is. Sometimes it is. And there are situations when I get back home after a tournament or event with super matches, doesn't matter, that I get back home and I'm still wondering if I did everything right. Of course, I made a lot of mistakes every day. It's for sure. But there are situations that I'm not sure if my call was right. And if we are talking only about if there was an elbow foul or wasn't this intentional slip out or no, I can just rewatch the video. Usually there are videos right now. But in case of setups, it's not so easy to say, was it fair or not? And especially when someone told me after that one of the pullers that he wasn't satisfied with that. So believe me that I'm going to spend the whole evening thinking about that.
Watching it and from the outside and feeling it, right? Is there a difference that you have when you're holding onto their hands that you can feel when they're moving, vice being able to watch it from the screen from the side?
Yeah, so this is a big difference. That's why there is a certain way how you should referee. And when I teach referees, I always say about that. There are some starting points where you need to have your fingers to be sure that you are going to feel the movement. And for example, when you going with referee's grip and you have your second referee, I always repeat to referees, just remember, you hold the grip not only to hold them at the position, you hold it just to be sure that if one of them move, you will feel who was the one who moved and who was the one who reacted. Because when you see the movement, they both move because the other one reacts. So this is normal. And the only option to feel that is to have your hands there. And even though in many cases it's not easy. It's sometimes better to say that you both moved. But yes, this is the only option to be sure that it was this guy who moved and the other one who only reacted. So watching something on the video, believe me, it's not the same as refereeing that, because I'm not only closer to that, I'm in the perfect angle to decide about different things, not only setup, but elbow fouls and so on. But I also feel it. So when I sometimes read some comments about different matches, different referees, not about me. I'm not very often reading something about me. And I read that a lot of people criticize them. No, he didn't see that. Oh, he was blind. Believe me, that angle changed a lot. And there was a situation when I so I have my YouTube channel as well. When there was COVID, we prepared a referee seminar in 9 short videos just to teach referees without seeing them, because it was COVID. And there, in one of videos, I exactly showed what I just said, that we showed several elbow fouls, small ones, but still visible ones. And we had 2 camera views from 2 different angles. And believe me that you wouldn't call any of them from this camera view, but from the point that referee is observing, there was like 5 of them. So the angle really matters. And this is even more. I'm sorry?
You said you had a YouTube channel.
Well, I have it, but I'm not posting anything new. I just have. So there is my referee seminar prepared with my friend Paulina. This 4 years ago, how many years ago there was COVID? Something like that. So we have it there, and we also had some videos, but unfortunately most of them in Polish.
Okay.
Where we because the seminar is in Polish and it is in English. There are 2 versions, so this is fine. But we also had some series of videos when we just explain in short videos particular situations. So, for example, there was an episode about intentional slip outs. There was an episode about elbow fouls, and this referee seminar was rather for referees to teach them, and the other type of videos were more for pullers, because a lot of pullers, arm wrestlers, are very sure that they really know the rules. They don't. Believe me, most of them don't know rules in details. Of course, generally they know the rules, but this was the reason why we created these videos. We explained the rules from referees' maybe not even referees' perspective, but from the rules perspective. That we showed and explained that this is an elbow foul, but this is not, and why. And you need to be careful about that, because this is still fine and this is not. And one of these episodes I really like the most, and this could be watched in English as well. I prepared 10 situations with slip outs. Some of them were intentional slip outs, some of them were normal slip outs, some of them were, let's call it, professional slip outs. So of course you know that this person did it on purpose, but he didn't break any rule. And I sent this video to 20 very famous, experienced pullers, and it wasn't 20, it was like 10 or maybe 15 referees, just to give their calls. And if you probably imagine, a lot of calls were completely different. And there were situations that it was like half and a half, that 50% of people thought that it was intentional slip out, and the second half thought, no, it was normal one. So I can send you a link to that. You can play and check yourself. Because in this video, there is also general results, how people voted. And there is another video with me and another master referee. We just chose, I think, 5 or 6 situations where the votes were the most diverse.
Yeah.
And we explain it, what the call should be from our opinion and why.
It sounds extremely interesting and something that I feel like I could do, and probably look back and laugh at myself for making really bad calls.
Well, even me and this other referee, we had different opinion in some cases because well, you have rules, of course, but a lot of situations live on the table. Even though you have revision, you have slow motion, sometimes you are still not sure.
Mm.
So just imagine what we have when we need to make a decision in seconds,
Yeah.
without revision, without slow motion. When you have all these options, you're still not sure.
Mm. So we got a question from Logia. I apologize, Logia. I I was we were in a very interesting topic. So he's asking, have you ever competed in an arm wrestling yourself?
I did. This is how I started. So I started my adventure with arm wrestling 19 years ago. It's all started from my brother. And I competed for the first time, and my first competition was a pretty big success for me. Especially, I won with the local, pretty famous girl who was like twice my weight. But she wasn't an arm wrestler. She was just a bodyguard, something like that. She was very strong, and I was 55 at that time. And I won it. So this just gave me energy to continue with that. So I competed for 2 years, and then I started refereeing, and I did both for next 2 years. And after that, I had some healthy issues, not an injury, something completely different. However, I couldn't train. And I felt that maybe it is a good point to resign from pulling, especially at that time. I already prefer to referee than to be an arm wrestler. And at that point, I was Polish champion. So I had this as my trophy, let's call it like that. I was a Polish champion, but it was in 2009, many years ago. A lot of you probably haven't even competed in 2009, and I was already a Polish champion. But still, I don't regret it. I really enjoy refereeing. I prefer refereeing. But there is one thing, one really big, important thing that I regret that I'm not competing anymore. I really believe that the best referees are pullers. Because when you are an arm wrestler, you have much better feeling. You really feel small difference. You know that there is a difference between this and this, and it's not that you know this, you feel this, you really understand this. And there are a lot of situations during setups that you can do in different ways, and one of the way is less harmful for someone, and it could be more harmful. Very easy one. For example, if you have a referee grip, and a lot of referees are doing something like that because you cannot cover knuckles, right? And you can get the same result with moving back an elbow. So two methods, and the result is the same. And of course, this is easy, but I just wanted to show it. But there is a lot of situations that a referee can do differently. And if you are not a puller, you don't feel this difference. And of course, also when you all the time you are pulling all the time, you know all the tricks, all the way that a puller one can cheat on referee. So you are a better referee when you are an arm wrestler as well. So this is the only thing why I regret I'm not a puller anymore. However, at least I try, and I really love it. It's not that I do it because I feel that I have to, but I really love it. I really enjoy talking to pullers. I can sit after the event for an hour or two and discuss different situations, and I learn from that. Okay, sometimes I can explain to them something from the referee's perspective, what is important based on rules and so on. But in most cases, I'm the one who learned from that, and it's kind of erzak to the situation I'm not pulling. At least I try to find out from conversation. However, it would be better if I still arm wrestle.
Which brings up a question for me. Do you ever participate in some of the after pulls or grip up with other athletes sometimes, or do you don't really add on the table anymore at all?
I'm not at all. I'm not at all. The only situation is when I ask them to explain something to me, or maybe they want to show me something. But it's not that we try. Sometimes they ask me, "Oh, come on," to check how strong am I. I'm not. I'm not right. So I still remember how to do it. However, I do not train. I'm pretty often at the gym, but it's just to be in shape. Not it's not arm wrestling training. So I'm not strong. So even though I know how to do some things, I'm not strong enough to do it.
I understand that. I feel like that all the time. Like I'm getting beat all the time. I'm like, man, I'm just not strong enough.
Okay, so maybe there is hope for me. Maybe I can get back at some point.
But high five jumping in here. What are some of the biggest, most memorable matches that you have refed?
Oh, we talked about that already. So
Yeah,
one of the most stressful for me was Prudnik Garbayev, and I'm not sure the match ended with 4-2, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
It was pretty even. It wasn't that one person was much stronger than the other one. And as I said, they were both really tactical, and a lot depends on referee. So for me, it was the most stressful for sure. And there were a lot of other matches that I really enjoy refereeing, but well, so sometimes other matches are interesting from referee's perspective than from puller's perspective. Because okay, all of us want to see matches, right? So in the perfect scenario, you spend like 10 seconds setting up, and the whole match is during the match. The most of the time you are watching elbows changing position and so on, but reality is that you need to spend a lot of time on them, and some of these matches are really hard for us to set people up, and but I wouldn't call them the biggest or the most memorable. Maybe most memorable, but not in terms that you would like to hear. It's because they made so many troubles to me.
I could understand. Yeah.
But I'm not going to call names because I still like these guys, but they know that they were pain in the ass, to be honest.
Oh yeah. Well, we got. I'm at least trying to get you to out somebody. I'm gonna try to get you to out somebody. So
No.
in the knuckles up environment, through knuckles up 1, 2, 3, and 4. Who stands out there as one of the athletes that just is always consistently a little bit difficult to work with? And you know that every time he gets up there, you're gonna have a little bit of trouble working with that athlete.
Okay, so what is interesting? Sometimes a person can be really troublesome in a match with this guy, but in the other match, it won't be a problem at all. I know those situations, and mostly is based on techniques. If they both are going to arm wrestling hook, it will be easier than you have one top roller and the second one who is going to compete to pull in hook. They are some guys who are always trouble. Okay, so there are guys who based a lot on trying to get as much as they can during setup. And they know they are discussing with you on purpose. They know exactly that they are not right. But they still are going to talk a lot and hope to get with something. I don't want to say names.
On, just give us one. Just give us one.
No. Yeah, but they're okay. Okay, so from the last Knuckles Up, these guys exactly know that they were really troublesome for us, and I told them so many times that I hate them for that. So that I wanted to kill them at that point. I was still smiling at the stage, but I was like, I'm going to kill you. But I was a second referee, so they made problem to my friend Paulina, but it was Plamen and Maria.
Oh, I was thinking, I got him in a couple hours. I'm gonna.
Yeah, I heard.
I'm gonna let you know that he admitted this to me already. He said that he's like, I am probably the number one problem that she's had the whole time at Knuckles Up so far, with probably both of my matches. This is what he told me.
Well, because we had a conversation about that. So yeah, so his match with Jason was also problematic. However, I rather think that in that match it was most Jason, not Mario. Mario was reacting on Jason behavior. But it was hard match to referee, I need to admit. But the second one with Plamen was really hard because they both just forget about this elbow fouls that Plamen did, and because it was sad. For me, it was just sad. Every time I had to stop this match and say elbow foul, Plamen, why? Yeah, because for me it was like, really, it is your fifth or sixth. But setups were really hard for them. I wasn't the one who did the setup. I was the second referee, so so they gave a really hard time to Paulina. And honestly, if this would be a tournament and she would be strict as she is on tournaments, she would foul them out.
Yeah.
The match wouldn't happen at all because the truth was that they both moved all the time. But one of them was going like that and the second one was going like that. And if she wanted to be strict, the match would finish on fouls. We didn't want to. So this is what I said earlier. Sometimes you need to compromise, and it's on you the responsibility. And of course, when you compromise, both of the pullers would complain to you. No one will be happy. At least during match, they would be yelling at you all the time. And you need to deal with both of them. It's easier when only one yelling at you and the second one is happy. But when both are, you are just be quiet.
Yeah. I feel like it's more fair if they're both complaining. It's more fair. No one's happy.
Yeah, maybe it's most fair. It's more fair. However, after the match like that, any of them ended being
Yeah.
happy about refereeing. So, but honestly, what would you do in the situation like that?
Oh, I don't know. I don't know. That would. I'd have to agree. That's got to be. That'd have to be rough. You'd have to like. Yeah, because you got all the people that paid to watch it and everything like that. You're trying to keep everything as.
You cannot yell on them. Of course, you can, but believe me, if you get angry, all the emotions only get bigger and bigger.
Yeah.
You need to stay calm. And there are situations that I'm really frustrated at that point, but I'm like, wrist, wrist, I'm smiling, I'm smiling. And I was like, I'm going to kill you. If I could kick you under the table, I would. But I'm always very gentle. I never do something like that. It's always like shoulder, shoulder, because I try to keep emotions at some level.
Mhm.
So even when you yell at me, I'm rather like, okay, it's fine. Okay, let me check. Uh, Sometimes, okay, there are situations that sometimes I'm like, do not discuss with me, or uh, because sometimes you just need to cut off to
Yeah.
continue the match,
Yeah.
or just to show that you are not going to allow for some tricks. But it's really not easy, and I very often think after the competition, could I do it better?
Mm. Well, I feel like that's a really interesting way to think about it, because even the athletes probably have that same thought when they're competing. So for you being a referee and thinking similar things, um, it's eye opening because it really comes down to like all the micro things that we're doing as an athlete, and you having to observe those and make extremely quick judgments and calls off of those movements. Like, was it a foul? Was it big
Yeah,
a game changer? And that's the one that kind of like opened like as a big thing to look at as well. Um, and super matches, if was that a call that's going to completely change everything? If that one moment that he moved just a little bit quicker, but he was still stopped by the other athlete. If I pull it
yeah.
back, I got to restart all
This
over. And
had
my
an impact or not?
yeah.
Exactly. So believe me that I think about this very often. It was many times that after a competition, I went back to my room, and for example, I was talking with Paulina, and I was like, I'm so angry on myself on that match. Why I got angry at the stage? Why I didn't manage to do something? And she's always like, stay calm. It was great. And I was like, no, I'm not satisfied. Uh, yeah, so
Mm.
uh, yeah, it is a problem. I always think that it could be done better, maybe, and you never know if this had impact or not. And
So
there is no good answer for that. For example, we have a normal tournament. We have something like protest. You can put a protest,
yeah.
and there was a point of my refereeing career that I was like, okay, if you are not sure, it's better to go for a rematch again and everything. And I still think that because if you are not sure, rematch is the best answer. However, if you are not sure, but still the call was correct, but you don't know that, if you go for a rematch, it's harmful for the guy who won, right?
Mhm.
Before the protest happened. So you always harm one of the guys. Not easy, not easy.
Yeah,
So,
there's no easy way to look at that or think about it. It's a your calls change everything sometimes. That's
yeah. Yeah, and sometimes they arm wrestle for big money, or not, even if not for money. So this is for some kind of prestige and everything. So for them, it's very important if they win or lose. And as I said already, repeating all the time today, that this is a huge responsibility, and there was a situation in my career. I even cried after the call.
oh.
Yeah, and I couldn't stop that. It shouldn't happen because I'm a master referee, so I should keep my emotions. But I'm also human.
That's true.
So, and the situation wasn't that I made a bad call. So it was a situation that my second referee stopped the match and called a pin. And the situation was on my side of the table, and it wasn't a pin yet. So he stopped the match too early. And I took him to the side and said that he made a wrong call. And the only option I see, to be fair, is to do a rematch. And we did rematch. And when the rematch happened, the other guy won. And probably if my second referee didn't stop the match at that point, it was like maybe 2 centimeters, maybe even less than 2 centimeters to the pad, probably he would win it in 2 seconds or something like that. So after the rematch, the other guy won. And at that point, I still felt that, okay, you were fair. It's not a nice situation, but still, you were fair. I went to the guy who lost in that situation. He didn't even want to talk to me. He still doesn't.
Ouch.
I still think that my decision was right. I cried. It's all about responsibility. Because for him it was world championships, right? For me, maybe it was a mistake, maybe it wasn't. But for him was a loss match in world championships.
So I can see that both of them have their own style of being stressful, super matches and the tournament-based matches. Which one do you feel is a little bit easier to ref than the other?
Oh, the tournament.
Tournament?
Definitely, in all ways. So starting from that, a lot of pullers on tournaments are on different levels. So matches are generally easier, because there would be a lot of matches that the difference is pretty big, so it won't be so hard. Secondly, if you don't prepare for one guy only, you do less tricks. This is the second thing. Third thing is that rules are strict. And when rules are strict, it's easier to go with the rules. Because on super matches, there is a lot of freedom in calls. It's your decision. It's referee's decision. And of course, always there will be people that would say that you should go like that and not like that. And this is all because of this freedom. You need to judge. So, for example, on Knuckles Up, there is a rule that we stop the match only if an elbow foul mattered to the match. So if no one gets any advantage. It was like only a small bump without any advantage. We don't stop the match. But sometimes it's not so easy to assess is there was an advantage or not.
Yeah.
So one person would say, no, no, it was an advantage. And the second one will say that it doesn't. So it's much harder to referee that. And of course, the last thing is that a lot of people watch these matches, and so the pressure is also bigger on you.
Mhm.
So, in all terms, super matches are much harder
For
than
the
tournaments. And usually during tournaments, arm wrestler don't argue with you so much.
Mhm.
And this is also normal, yeah. So it's kind of show. First of all, it's that you want to get what you prepared for, and of course you are going to discuss with a referee. And it's
Mhm.
also different level of pullers.
Mhm.
On super matches, you have very experienced pullers who really knows what they want to get, and it's much harder.
So I've already had you for an hour, a little over our hour plan that we discussed.
Okay, I didn't notice that it was so long already.
Yeah, we kind of just we're just flowing back and forth. With one of the things that I've been asking most people I have on the channel. So Knuckles Up Five being around the corner, and you being where I'm going to safely, I feel safely assume the head ref for Knuckles Up
Yes,
Five. Um,
yes.
I know that you don't really um, anticipate or like plan the matches now because of based off our discussion.
Yeah.
But um, from an outside perspective, and as a fellow fan of the sport, because it's easy to see that you have a passion for the sport, and you're also more than likely a big fan of it as well. What match so far that's been announced for Knuckles Up Five that you think is going to be a very good match that was is going to be an enjoyment to watch?
Whoa. So a lot of them are very interesting. I don't know if I'm going to surprise you or not, but one of the matches I really wait for is a female match. It's Sarah versus Ellen.
Mm,
Uh, and okay, maybe you are not very familiar with Ellen. Ellen is a very young arm wrestler from Sweden.
mhm,
And I was observing her from her beginnings when she was like 15 or something like that. And even she was so young, she was still able to beat much older adult pullers. And I saw her matches with Fia Isaac. They were like very even, and at some point it was Ellen who started to win these matches. Now Fia is in another federation. Now it's I think she is a champion in East versus West, right?
mhm.
So, and I know I saw their last match together when this it was won by Ellen. So
Oh,
maybe people don't know a lot about Ellen, but she's so strong. Um, so I'm really excited to see her match with Sarah. Of course, Sarah is an awesome puller, and
mhm.
she is on her own level, right?
Yeah.
She's like a real star, not as a celebrity, but she really deserves the title.
Mhm,
However, they have never met, even though they are both from Sweden. But she moved to the USA many years ago before Ellen started to compete.
mhm.
So they never pull with each other. And Ellen is probably a little bit lighter, but only a little bit probably. But still, I'm really excited to see if she is already at the level to face Sarah. She could be, even though she is very young. I don't know, she's 20 or something like that. She's
Wow.
very. still in the youth.
Mhm.
Uh, but I see a lot of matches ahead of her and a big career ahead of her. So, and I even talked to Sarah about this, and Sarah is also very excited because when you are so good as Sarah, or Gabriela,
Yeah.
it's so hard to find you an opponent, someone who will be good enough to stop you. And my finger crossed for Ellen, not that I cheer for Ellen, but I cheering for someone who can stop Sarah and give her a good match. So I never, really never say who will win in my opinion in any match, because every time someone asks me, I just answer, I'm the referee. I'm not going to set
Mhm.
what I think. It doesn't matter what I think.
Mhm.
But I really wait for that match.
Mhm. That's an amazing way to put it. Because I don't expect you to tell me like who you think's going to win because it always comes down to what happens on the table. Um, but now you gave me a match to look excited to see because at first I really didn't have a lot of knowledge on Ellen, but now hearing it come from you, my eyes are going to be looking for that match.
Happy to hear that. Happy to hear that. So I was observing her for a long time, and in most federations, in most events, female matches are like, okay, okay, like a break between
Mhm.
nice guy matches. But in this match, I'm going to be really interested about.
Well, a lot of people don't know. My daughter arm wrestles, so
Oh,
my
right.
my interest in female arm wrestling has gone through the roof. And my daughter's a fan of Yoshiko, as one of the competitors. She's going to be facing Merlin, and she's also a big fan of Mario because Mario came out here and pulled with her, and immediately made a big fan out of her when she got to like rip up with him and arm wrestle. Um,
Did she win?
she's only yeah, obvious now.
Of course.
She's 9, so she's not very big, but she's already falling in love with the sport. She has a great passion for it, and now I have obviously I'm gonna have her sitting here with me, and we're gonna watch some of these matches, and I'm gonna talk to her about this Sarah match. Now she's in bed, or else I would. I'm gonna
Okay,
talk to her
so
about this match.
maybe she could have another person to follow.
Yeah, exactly.
And Ellen in everything is so humble.
Mhm.
Uh, Maybe that's why you haven't heard about her. Because
Mhm.
she doesn't post a lot,
Mhm.
she doesn't vote, she doesn't just saying about what she achieved. So, yeah.
It's a big challenge in modern arm wrestling as the shift is happening from tournament to super matches, and promotion of these athletes becomes um, a bigger part of the sport. And I do think that it's not only the athlete's responsibility. It's
Well,
also
you don't have to look far away
yeah,
because who was promoted by Knuckles Up and now he's doing a big career?
yeah.
You
Jason.
know, the Polish guy, Kamil
Oh
Jaworski.
yes. Oh yeah.
And he was like, he just replaced someone 2 weeks before the Knuckles Up won
Yeah.
to face Dave Chaffee. And everyone was like, oh, he's going to lose.
Yeah.
There is no way he is going to beat Dave because Dave, of course, is a great puller, and no one heard about him. Maybe not no one because in Europe
Yeah.
they generally know him, but not at this level.
Yeah.
And uh, he got promoted, and Knuckles Up gave him a big chance to show himself. And right now, he had so many great matches after that. And he wouldn't have this opportunity if Chris and Will didn't give it to him at the first time.
Yep.
So sometimes you just need to trust someone who is not well known, and sometimes a person from, I don't want to say no one, because no one is no one, but
Yeah.
no one famous, no one well known,
Yeah.
can become a star in a very short time.
Yes, that's a huge one. I will say that I did have a little bit of knowledge about him, but that's only because I follow flop pressers. Because I think um, that's one of the most misvalued moves in the sport. Because I think it has a lot of potential for certain matches, and those athletes have to be half crazy to be able to commit themselves that much into the match to give everything and put their body on the line. Because one bad move in that kind of situation, and you could hurt yourself really bad.
I know. For example, my father is an arm wrestler as well, and he is world champion among senior grandmasters, so over 60 years old. And he almost always pull in dangerous position. So he is lucky that I, as a family member, cannot referee his matches, because if I was a referee on any of his matches, he would be fouled out. I cannot watch his matches. I'm like, oh no, don't show me this. But he's so strong here. He's like a wall here, and but still, it could be one move, and his arm can break. So it is dangerous, but it's his way.
Yeah. I definitely feel you there, because that's one thing Japanese arm wrestlers. It's almost all over Japan. Just elbows of steel. They just go sideways, and in the most like breath holding positions sometimes. So far, Shishido, another name that's slowly growing from the Knuckles Up stage.
And this is something that I really like in Knuckles Up, that probably most of viewers haven't heard about some names from Asian pullers.
Mm-hmm.
Some Europeans as well, but mostly Asian pullers.
Yeah.
So arm wrestling in Asia is very popular, but in Europe and in the USA, Canada, America generally, we don't know them. And sometimes even I really try to be updated and to know how strong someone is. There were matches that I was sure, because I knew the other puller, the European one, for example, and I thought like, oh, this probably will be one-sided. And I was so surprised with the outcome. Like, really? So he is so strong. Nice. And most of these guys wouldn't be seen anywhere on big stages if not Knuckles Up. So it's great. In my opinion, this is great that they give chance to pullers that maybe are very good. Maybe they are well known in their own countries, but they are not worldwide well known.
I'm kind of fishing some more names over there. I'm like, oh, you should try this guy too. This guy's really strong. No one's ever heard of him, but he's famous here.
Exactly. So I did some kind of suggestions like that as well in the past. So that's just take a look on this guy, maybe, or this girl. Maybe they are worth to pay some attention to them.
That's probably why we have so many great matches, because all these, because Will and Chris have are willing to open their ears and listen to all these other people give them names and suggestions, and from those they're able to pick out some of the athletes that may not be well known, but they perform. And that's what's really important, and what uh, really stands out is, and when they're giving this opportunity, they really put it all on the table, and they give 100+%. Um,
Exactly, and honestly, do you prefer to watch a match between two very famous guys, but it will be one-sided, it will be 3-0 or something like that, or maybe two guys who are less well known, but the match will be crazy?
I
Which match do you prefer?
Crazy matches anytime,
Exactly.
And plus, it's always nice that we do have some repeat names at Knuckles Up, because that's their home stage, and
Yeah.
that's where they belong. And it wasn't for Chris and Will, these guys wouldn't have a stage to be on. And we do see some of them again and again. But what's great is they always have all these new athletes, these unknowns that they're bringing as well.
New opponents,
Yeah,
completely new opponents,
yeah,
and you can just check yourself where are you in this ladder.
yeah. And you're not seeing the same people over and over and over and over again, and that is something that they're giving us that is amazing. Um, well, I don't want to keep you any longer. I've already had you for 30 minutes past our time that I had planned for us to,
All right.
wrap up. But it was a great conversation. But I'm gonna let you know. I'm looking at this card, and I think that it's going to be a great event. But you're going to have a
What
rough
match
time.
is the one you are expecting the most?
Oh, one that I am excited
Yeah.
to see: Jason and Stoika.
Yeah, it could be a very good match. I know
Yeah.
them both. I
Mhm.
was referring them both. They have pretty interesting style.
Mhm.
Uh, Honestly, Bogdan is one of my favorite people to referee because he's so easy to referee.
Well, I don't think Jason's going to make it easy for you.
I know. So this won't be easy,
That's who I
probably, because for
suspected.
sure Bogdan is going to react
Yeah.
to Jason. However, yeah, and Bogdan knows that as well.
Mhm.
That every time I had to referee his matches, it was like wrist, wrist, shoulder, shoulder, ready, go. There are
Yeah.
only two pullers in this world right now who are so nice. I always say it's a referee dream.
Yeah.
It's Bogdan and another one from Bulgaria.
Yep. I almost half expected you to say Jason when we were talking about your troublesome pullers at the
Because
stage.
he is so
Because you had
well.
Jason and Tom was probably a nightmare to referee, because that match was back and forth and like a nail biter, to where calls were holding your breath.
Well, so yes, it was hard for me to referee. However, uh, this match was most of the time during the match. I didn't spend so much time on setting up. So when I just observing the match, and you just need to think that, do you need to stop it or not? Do you let them pull? Um, so this is exciting. I like in positive way. It's like, yeah, awesome. I like it. I'm not going to stop it. And there was a situation when I talked to Tom, watch your elbow, because it was a little bit on the border, but I didn't want to stop it because the match was so nice.
Yeah.
So these are awesome matches, and it gives you energy. Even though it was hard, much harder for a referee is when you cannot set them up. So it was much harder for me the match between Jason and Mario, because it was hard to set them up, and Jason was already very frustrated, and he's showing that. and I really tried to hold the emotions there.
Yeah.
But I also was pretty frustrated at the time. But I was like, calm down, come to the table, let's do that. Yeah, so Jason can be hard, can be, because there were matches that I would say that it was his opponent who was harder to referee. So in his last match with, I'm sorry, I probably pronounced it wrong, Jihin. I'm sorry, I cannot pronounce his surname. I'm so sorry. But in this match, it wasn't Jason who was hard to referee. In the match with Tom, they were both at similar level, so it was fair.
Yeah.
But in the match with Mario, it was Jason who was more troublesome.
Yeah.
But I'm never angry on that. So I'm laughing. I'm going to kill you. I'm laughing about that. But I know how important it is for them. And I'm not angry. And there was one situation pretty funny that before the match, someone came to me, and the person already knew that I'm going to be a referee in that match, and he apologized to me.
Before it started?
So he apologized in advance.
Yeah.
Nothing personal, but sorry, Judy.
Sorry, it's gonna be rough, like things. Well, I think you're gonna have there's gonna be some very exciting matches, but I also think you're probably gonna have a couple rough ones on the stage. I don't think I'm a huge fan of Don, especially back when he was just a little bit younger before some of the injuries he's had. He's so explosive, but it looks like he is, because of that explosivity and how close sometimes it is from the goes, that he often will get like the elbow foul and the hand fouls, movements, that I could see him being a little bit of a troublesome person for you as well, or for whoever's the up ref.
Yeah.
Is that up ref? Is that correct? Okay.
Head ref at the table. Head ref. Head and downside. Yeah. So never ignore very experienced pullers.
Yeah.
They know everything about arm wrestling and how to do some tricks and everything, and they can really surprise you with their power, and most of everything, their knowledge is huge. So when I see in matches like that there is a youth versus experience, it's awesome. It's awesome because you can really be surprised. There was a situation many years ago. My father, who is over 60 and he looks his age, went to a local tournament, and he was waiting in a line to sign in. And there were young guys, just some strong guys from the gym, not arm wrestlers. And they talk between themselves what this grandma is doing here. And my father won this competition.
Yeah.
And they were like, what the hell? How is it possible?
Yeah.
But the knowledge and experience is everything. So, yeah, it could be a very excited match as well.
Because I would say Reichard looks extremely strong. But you can't put out the explosivity and the experience of Don Hollywood Underwood. Thank you so much for joining me today. Thank you guys all in the live. It was a great opportunity to hear arm wrestling from your point of view.
So it was a pleasure for me, and yeah, I know that I have completely different perspective than most of you as a referee, even different point of view during matches. I see them from different angle than you, and I observe something else. So when I see the match, I see in most cases I see elbows. I see how close our fingers or wrists to the pin. I don't see the whole picture. I can see the whole picture after the match when I see the video. I don't see that during the match, never, because I'm too close to that. So my perspective is always different. So after matches, I also will always have another perspective than you because my point of view is different, always. So it was a pleasure for me that I could say something from my side, from my point of view. And thank you for that. Thank you for opportunity.
Well, I can say that it was an extreme pleasure to have you on the channel.
Yeah.
And I hope that isn't the last time I get to have you on the channel, especially
Sure.
with matches that will be happening in the future and all these other changes. I
You can call me after the event. I can, after the match, I can comment what happened at the table from my perspective. So I'm not commenting before the matches. As I
yeah
said, I don't like it.
yeah
But after the match, I can explain from my perspective what happened, why the call was like that, and so on and so on. So we can talk after next Knuckles up.
I will definitely take you up on that opportunity because I would love to pick your brain on some of these amazing matches they're going to have. Um, thank you all for coming.
Thank
Uh,
you. Thank you.
it was,
Thank you for all questions and all comments.
yep, it was a great, different perspective from the idea of arm wrestling at the big table from a master referee. I hope to catch you guys all next time. I'll be live again in just a couple of hours. I think it's like 7 hours. I have Mario Timbakis coming on the channel. Apparently, a rough person to referee. And I will
You
come
can
in and
tell him that.
about Mario. You guys stay savage.
Bye.
And now I just got to wait for everything to catch up. But honestly, it was a joy.